Okay, we're going to do this maiden flight. The wind is a little bit higher than what I would like out here. We've already turned it on. Red light on the gyro indicates that we are in head holding mode, which is this switch here, which is what we want. Anytime you're going to fly these things, you always got to make sure everything's working. So our rudder's working correctly. Cyclics. Pay attention to the directions that they fly, or that they move whenever you move your sticks. Out of head holding mode. And let's see what we can do here. Get up to speed. There we go. Now here a little bit of the sun. It's windy. Picks up that wind pretty good. Blade tracking looks pretty good. The wind is pretty good out here, so I'm not going to push it. As you can see, she does fly and she does hover nice. You know, with helicopters, they're not like quads or something like that. They actually, you got to keep your fingers on the controls all the time and make little tiny adjustments. They don't fly themselves. So, there you go. I'll go ahead and set her down. Little tail wag there sometimes. She's pretty reactive. Maybe I'll just go ahead and lower the gyro settings just a little bit here. Let me set her down right here. Bring up our gyro. Okay, we're sitting at 68.5 right now. Let's drop her down to 66. Alright. And we'll reset the gyro by flipping this switch 3 times. Okay, that's the gyro switch 3 times. Resets the gyro. Let's take it back off again, see if our gyro's holding the way we want. That's a little smoother. It's jerky. The wind's catching us good out here though. Alright. You'll have to use a little more forward stick than what I like, but that's because of the design of the helicopter. And I'll talk more about that in the next video. Alright, after she's done spinning down, then before you approach the helicopter, flip the switch, okay, and go ahead and turn off the gyro. And do not turn off the radio until after you've unplugged it, because it'll spin up on its own. Okay, we're unplugged. Now I can turn off the radio, and we're ready to go. Okay.
Hi Lee, just finished that video out there flying this helicopter, and I want to show you some of the things that I found wrong with it. First off, let's go ahead and remove the canopy and disconnect the battery. There we go. These little rubber dealies here for your canopy seem to come off real easily. There we go. Okay. A couple things here. First problem that was evident was these two bars here have to be parallel, because these have to be the exact same length. That's you just have to do it. Otherwise they'll end up fighting each other and cause your swash plate to move around. What's different in the video for setting up these things from a normal or standard align is that the swash plate moves down to give you higher elevation. In other words, you'll have more pitch, and as the swash plate moves down, the swash plate moves up, you'll have lower pitch or negative pitch. Okay? So that's a big difference. The servos, of course, were wrong. You had the spectrums back there and a corona up here. They have to all match in order for everything to work together the same way. So now you have all coronas. These are all metal geared with good specs. They're at least as good as those spectrum servos. They should last you in service, serve you very well. The other thing that I did was changed out the tail servo. You have the Futaba on there, which is a good servo, but it was acting very erratic. It was jerking, and rather than mess around with it, I just went ahead and put the 919 on there. I knew that would work fine. Set up your gyro for this particular servo. It is a digital servo, and the compensation was wrong whenever I tested it up, even with the Futaba. So I reversed the compensation on here. The radio setup is quite a bit different. Almost every setting was changed on to get us to fly like that. But as you saw, she flies very well. She does well, and you should be able to get her out there and learn how to fly it. There's a couple things that I want to show you in about another 450. Let me go ahead and stop the video here and get one of the other 450s. Okay, what I wanted to show you, Lee, was the reason the helicopter like this flies the way it does. You'll see it. It's not going to be as stiff and real tuned to your fingers. I mean, if you're going to go and do any 3D kind of work, then this is a good starting point. But you really want to move on to something that has more metal in the head. Now, there's a lot of almost everything on here. This whole head piece is all plastic. Everything in here is plastic. The grips. And what that does is it causes a lot of flex. Doesn't sound like it would with these small components, but they all a little bit on each one causes just enough flex to make a difference in how it flies. Now this is a 450 Pro Align, and you'll see that it has all metal parts throughout, and you notice that the blades are stiffer. May not be able to really show you that on this video here, but these here are very sloppy. That's because the grips are too wide. Now I have seen some blades get a little washer that they'll put in here. This one doesn't have it. Very sloppy. I don't like that because it can end up having a tail strike at any time, and it's just not real good and firm. You want to have them just enough so that they will center whenever you have a high speed, but not sit there and just fall around whenever you play with the helicopter. Same thing with the tail blades. I tightened these up. They were just falling all over the place, and now they will hold just about where you want. Sometimes some people think that that's a little bit too tight. I disagree. They should have a little stiffness to them, but still be able to move and find center whenever you're flying. Another thing you can get for this helicopter here is a carbon fiber boom, just like what these are using. Nice and stiff, something you may want to consider. I've also used, all of mine are aluminum tail pieces. This one here is a plastic piece, so you can also get these in metal. The one problem that I see with this particular helicopter is tail heavy. Whenever you're wanting to lift off, it'll want to go backwards on you. Taking off that rear servo helped a little bit, but whenever you have the battery, the center for this thing for battery is way out here in the front, and when it's out that far, your canopy can't fit on. So the alternative is to lighten up the rear end or put extra weights on the front end. And adding weight to a helicopter is never a good idea, but that may be something you end up having to do. That's the reason that you end up having to use the forward stick with this helicopter, because of the way it's all laid out. The weight is too far back. When you balance these things out and you hold them in your hand and balance them, they should balance out. Now the battery off of there obviously is going to flip over, but it's still, unless you have the battery way down here, it still wants to flip over. So those are the things I wanted to mention to you. Another thing is the gyro. Although this gyro holds okay and it gets the job done, at some point you may want to get yourself a little bit higher quality gyro. I'm running the GY 401s on these. Now actually this is a 520, GY 520s, and this here is a GP 780. And the 401s do work, but they're an older gyro. These 520s work really good. Any of the Align ones are better quality, but then you end up paying for it as well. I mean, this gyro here is probably in the neighborhood of 60, 70 bucks. These now you can get pretty cheap, but whenever I first originally bought these were all $100, and this one here is $120. Okay, that's about it for now. I think you'll enjoy it. You can learn how to fly with this helicopter. It'll do well for you. Eventually, you may want to upgrade to an Align or upgrade this one, and put all the metal parts on the front, all on the head. Get that all set up, and then go from there. Okay, buddy. I'm going to send this off. Like I said, just flew it. You'll see the video of it flying. Just took the battery off of it. We're going to put it in the box here in a few minutes and send it on its way. Okay? Have fun.